Bismillah. A brother asked a question. What if you go to someone's house and are asked by the person to remove your shoes? Will you have to remove your shoes or not?
We are always with the conditions.
Yes,
we are always talking about the conditions that are not in the Book of Allah. So he will say here, okay, you go to visit someone and he tells you, okay, you can't come in unless you remove your shoes. Now, if you go to visit someone, if it's an invitation, it's an obligation for you to go. When you go there, if this person makes any conditions that are in the Book of Allah, you have to accept them. Because it's an obligation on you. You can't just, I don't want to come in. Any condition that is in the Book of Allah. Now, if he asks you to remove your shoes, because there is something in your shoes that will damage his property, then it is in the Book of Allah that تعاونوا على البر والتقوى, that help each other on birr, on the good, and taqwa. So that is part of the religion. It's a condition that is in the Book of Allah. You should not damage the property of your brother. But if your shoes are clean and you can't see any reason for him asking you to remove your shoes, then this is an excuse. Maybe you don't want to go to this person invitation, but you don't have the choice, you have to. And then he makes some conditions. That is the best excuse to go. Look, I came to you because it's an obligation. Now you are asking me to do something which is not in the Book of Allah. I have to go. I am not going to remove my shoes. I just give him an example to clarify what he is saying here, to just make it clear to him that this is the right, that is what the right thing to do, if the person chooses. If you go to someone's house and ask you to remove your top, stay topless. I mean, it's not haram in the religion. This is how the Sahaba used to move in Medina. Do you have to do that? If what he asks you to wear just a short, from the navel to the knees, as the majority say, it's awrah, still not haram. You can do that if you want. But do you have to do that? Or what do you say about this? If he says, no, I don't have to do this, yeah, same thing. You don't have to remove my shoes. Or you have to tell me what is the limit. The limit is, if he asks you to do anything which is not in the Book of Allah, then you don't have to listen to him. If you go and buy a house, and the person, you buy a house and then, well, after you bought it, you enter the house and it says, there is a piece of paper on the house that says, you are not allowed to live with your wife in this house. It's a condition in the Book of Allah? No. Does it make sense? So, the limits is what the Prophet said. If it's the condition is in the Book of Allah, something obligation, someone sells you a book and tells you that this book, I will sell it to you with the condition that every time someone needs it to learn religion and you are not using it, you have to lend it. You have to do that. Because it's in the Book of Allah. Allah says, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ. They don't lend help. But if the opposite, no, you don't. That's what I have.
Bismillah. A brother asked about the hadith that says that the scholars are the inheritors of the prophets. Doesn't that give them some of their rights, such as respect, for example?
Well, Bismillah. We have already spoken about this matter here, actually, that who are the ulama? Now, if someone says this, brings this hadith, the hadith about in al-ulama warathatul anbiya, this hadith actually is da'if. This hadith is da'if. Some people, I heard some people, and you read in some books that some people refer this hadith to Bukhari. They say this hadith is narrated by Bukhari. This hadith is not narrated by Bukhari. Bukhari narrates two types of hadith. Hadith muttasil and hadith mu'allaq. Now, the hadith muttasil, that is his way to say this hadith I accept it and I consider it to be sahih. So he put it in his book, muttasil, from the beginning to the chain to the end to the Prophet. The other type of hadith, Bukhari will cut the beginning of the hadith. Whether he will eliminate his sheikh or his sheikh and his sheikh, whether the whole is not just mentioning the Prophet. That is the way of Bukhari to say this hadith, I don't believe that it is suitable for my book. You understand? That is his way. If you look at it, all the hadith that are in this category, you will find them to be either weak. Even Bukhari would have made the comment that they are weak somewhere else. Or you will find that this hadith, for example, has been already narrated with a full isnad, and he didn't want to repeat it. But if this hadith is only mu'allaq, then this hadith is weak, according to Bukhari. Or at least it is not good enough to be in this book, on his book. Now this hadith is neither of these two types. Bukhari made iqtibas. Iqtibas is this. If I tell someone, I come across some people, group of people, I say, اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. اتقوا الله, fear Allah the way he should be feared, and don't die except in state of Islam. I didn't say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I didn't say Allah said. So I didn't read Quran. This is what we call iqtibas. Even those who say, for example, that you should not read Quran except in state of tahara, they say that here in this case is fine, because your intention is not to read Quran. You just are advising these people using an ayah. So this is your own talk. So this is what the Bukhari did when he was talking about the ulama. He said, وَالْعُلَمَاءُ وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. He didn't say the Prophet said, or even that it has been narrated from the Prophet. It's not neither muttasil or mu'allaq. Even when hadith mu'allaq, we don't refer it to Bukhari. We are supposed to say rawahu al-Bukhari mu'allaqan, just so people don't get confused. This hadith is not rawahu al-Bukhari. It's not at all. So, and this hadith, according to many actually, is daif. One of them is one of the biggest muhaddithin, Daraqutni. Daraqutni considered this hadith to be daif because he considered the narrators, not one of them, three of them. He considered them to be either majhul or weak. First, we start with Asim bin Raja ibn Haywa. He is weak. No one who is considerable of this man of Jarh of Ta'dil said he is thiqa. Then from his teacher, Dawud ibn Jamil, is also weak, or majhul at least. And then from Kathir ibn Qais or Qais ibn Kathir, the name, he is not known, majhul. So we have not one illah, three, one after the other. This makes this hadith daif. This hadith daif according to Daraqutni, according to Duhaym, according to Dawoodi. I don't remember all the people who consider it to be daif, but there is few who consider it to be daif. Those who say it's sahih, they have to explain how. If the hadith was sahih, then this hadith doesn't add anything to what you see. What I have been talking about earlier, about who are the ulama. If you read the Quran, this hadith says that al-ulama warathatul anbiya. The ulama are those who inherit the prophets. وَإِنَّ الْأَنْبِيَاءَ لَمْ يُوَرِّثُوا دِرْهَمًا وَلَا دِينَارًا وَإِنَّمَا وَرَثُوا الْعِلْمَ. That the anbiya have not left in inheritance dinar or dirham. What we call the money? Currency. وَإِنَّمَا وَرَثُوا الْعِلْمَ. What they have left is ilm. What is ilm? Ilm is Quran and Sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Fatir, for example, just few ayat after إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Indeed, those who fear Allah are ulama. After that, just few ayat after that, he says, ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ اصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. Then we gave in inheritance the book to those that we have chosen amongst our creation, amongst our servants or slaves. فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. So amongst them there is ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ, wrongdoer, someone who wrongs himself, those who wrong themselves. وَمِنْهُمْ مُقْتَصِدٌ. And amongst them there is those who take middle course. ومنهم سابق بالخيرات, those who سابق بالخيرات, محسنين, those who are excel in the worship of Allah. So actually everybody, that's what we were saying before, everybody has been given in inheritance the book. So everybody really is a alim in a way. Because everybody who knows that لا إله إلا الله فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله, know that there is no God except, that there is no deity or worth of worship except Allah. So everybody who knows this is alim, he knows something. And then after that, people have darajat, their knowledge is levels. And nobody knows everything, and no Muslim ignores everything. So that is my comment on this hadith.
Would it give someone a right of being of a higher darajat over another person?
Okay, respect. What is our duty towards them? No, there is no. If someone has studied, it doesn't give him any right. People have the choice. It's your choice who you like, who you don't, who you dislike. You should not hate a Muslim, but liking, disliking, that is a matter of, should be left to everybody, everyone. Someone likes a person because he is doing jihad, someone likes a person because he is doing da'wah, someone likes a person because he is teaching his children on Islam and excelling in that and putting all his efforts in that. Someone likes someone because he learned a lot, and someone likes another because he's teaching, he learns a little, but whatever he learns he teaches to other people. So, but in the religion, you have your right. For example, you have your right who you like and who you dislike. But the religion doesn't tell us that these people who have studied or devoted their times to study Sharia, that they have a right or they are better than anybody. Yes, they need respect as Muslims, but everybody needs respect, same way. You understand? So, and someone who has studied Sharia doesn't give him the right to talk about things that he doesn't know. If someone has learned a lot of things, and someone has learned just few things, this person has same right as this person. He has the same obligations as this person. He must talk about everything that he knows. And the person who knows a lot, he must teach everything that he knows as well. And it doesn't make this person better than this person. You understand? Just to give you an example, we have some Sahaba such Ibn Umar, such Aisha, Ibn Mas'ud, Ibn Abbas. They studied a lot, they knew a lot, they narrated a lot of hadith, they spoke a lot about fiqh. But there are some Sahaba that, some of them we don't even know their names. And some of them, we know their names, we know that they spent time with the Prophet, they saw him maybe in the Hajjat al-Wada'. They heard hadith from him, and they understood it. Do you say that these people are ignorant just because they didn't know much? Do we say that what they heard from the Prophet, they have no right to apply it or to teach it just because they didn't hear as much as Aisha and Jabir and Abu Sa'id al-Khudri? No. So this dividing people into ulama and no ulama, and these have more rights than those, this is either the work of the ignorant people, or those who have studied but they are still ignorant because they don't fear Allah and they want to make a position for themselves. Because a person, a real alim, is someone who doesn't call himself alim and doesn't like people to call him alim. A person who takes this name and call himself alim or like people to call him alim is definitely a jahil.